Howdy, folks. DaveMan here again, Rollman Revolution. We're going to switch gears a little bit tonight and talk about something a little bit more personal. I usually don't go into these vicinities, but because of the world we're living in right now, I felt it was only apropos. On March 31st, 2023, in the wee hours of the early morning, I awoke to find my wife collapsed on the floor, unresponsive, potential overdose. I raced inside to have my mother-in-law contact the ambulance, came outside to perform CPR, screaming, God, no. God, no. In my heart at the moment, I knew it was already gone. Crystal, my wife, didn't really like this place. This world was not very friendly to her. She struggled with pain and misery most of her life, and as a person, as her husband, having to watch that. She sat right next to me every single day. We talked about everything, but to watch somebody have to go through that every single day and not being able to do very much for it makes you feel very, what's that word? Well, you know what I mean. There's nothing worse than not being able to help the people that you really care about, but to watch them slowly go through just suffering, it just sucks. But the fact that happened, it's like, it sucks because she was the one person that I could talk to about anything. I mean anything. And this world, whether you want to agree with me or not, is not very friendly, and it's not very, well, let's say it's diabolical in nature. It's all suffering, everything. Something must die in order for something else to survive. We have this weird, it's a constant chopping mechanism. We're constantly recycling and destroying and reusing and recycling and destroying and reusing, and it's like, why? Most of the life, you go through these challenges and pain, and you seek to get just a little glimpse of joy sometimes, and to watch people living on the street and suffering, or people to be sold into sex slavery. And it's like, why? Why? Why would anybody want to incarnate into a world like that? What? So when I lost my wife, it's like I lost somebody else who kind of saw the world in the same attitude as I did. It's like, it's not a very friendly place, and it's a very lonely place when you have people, when you don't have somebody to share the reality with. Because so many people live in a really weird reality. They live in a reality of false promises, and a lot of good time is coming to me ever so far away, when it's like we're not really paying attention to what's really going on here. My wife didn't deserve what happened to her, and it's just the fact that this is happening to many households around the United States now, and it's primarily why I'm wearing my good old Take Down the CCP shirt, because those son of a bitches deserve to be destroyed from root to branch. Every part of their existence gone forever, never to be heard of again. The Communist Party of China is infiltrated in every aspect of American culture now. It is the one responsible for the fentanyl that is being carteled by the cartels across the southern border and into the United States with the assistance of that son of a bitch and that stolen administration called the Biden White House. It's just a crime what's going on, and it's other human beings. Like I said a moment ago, this world is just pure suffering, and my wife was one person that tried every day to try to alleviate that for people. She always tried to help people, and it's just that the good people always seem to get shit on, and that's why this whole world is such a mess. And again, I keep thinking about all of the leverage that we have as citizens in the United States. We could do so much more if we just gave a shit about what's really going on around us. This would stop tomorrow. It would stop. So many of us live in fear. We're so afraid of losing the little bit that we have. We're so afraid of losing the status or whatever it is that we build. As if that means anything. This whole reality is so fake. It's so fake. The only thing real is the stuff, the thing, that whatever is going on that's driving this. Everything here and everything after here can't be trusted. I mean, think about it. Let's do a thought exercise for a minute. I know my audience, I don't usually do this too, but let's just do a thought exercise. Like I said, we're going in a little different direction today. Pick the year, whatever year you were born in. You plopped out, right? Do you remember when that was exactly that you plopped out? Not the date they told you. Do you remember when you came out your mother's? Do you remember any of it? No. How far back do you remember? Some people say they can remember back when I was 6 months old, and I'm like, the earliest memory I have that I can remember to now maybe not then, I don't know, but yeah, obviously, but was 4 years old. And only was because it was something really stupid. But I don't really remember too much more before that. Now from like 11 on, I pretty much can remember, have this not photographic memory, but I can remember if I see something, I can relate it back to events that happened in the past, and it's just really, really weird. Certain smells bring me to different places. I'm sure a lot of people have those things, but my point is that how far back do you remember? And then when you were there, what do you remember? You remember what? Just a memory about what you did, but it's like, how did you get here to begin with? And so many people will use just the simplistic terms. Well, I was born. God created me, and I had two parents, and they loved each other, and then they made this body for me. Right, but what were you doing before that? I mean, this is billions of years. Okay, whatever. If we want to believe whatever science says, which I get a cramp every single time I look at any new science bullshit today. If we want to believe it, we've been around billions. This world's been, the universe, well, whatever the number is that they've given us. Okay, long time. I'll just do even going a step further, and let's say it was always here. Because again, it's very hard to believe that there was nothing and then something just, I just believe there is, was, and always will be is probably the best way to put it, because it's just it was, it is, it's happening. It's constantly, it's this one constantly going on. It is. Whatever it is, okay? But if you just think about it, you came here, right? You know nothing. But all of this has been happening forever. Ever. So what were you doing before you got here? I go back to that question. You got here, I got here in 1977, so I was told. And, the earliest memory I have was like in the 81, and again before that, I mean, I could have been anything for all I know. I mean, there's pictures of me, obviously, and they say that that's me, so I must be me, right? Well, it's just all of this, everything that I know about this world is either something I heard or somebody's taught me or something I discovered on my own. But if you think about it, it's such a limited viewpoint of everything. And we're only here for 70, 80 years, right? And then you die, and then you're supposed to go off to the la-la land, and you live in the happily ever after, or you go down to the fire land, where you be, with a pitchfork and, with the devil or whatever. Whatever the story is that they tell you, right? If that's what you believe. It's just so... Okay, this makes no sense. So how in the hell does any of that make sense? I mean, I'm not shitting on anybody's religion. I'm not. I mean, there's manuscripts and there's a lot of this stuff, but it's all open to interpretation. And depending upon what you think is going on here and what may be going on there, when you die, I'm sure it's going to be curated in a way that makes you feel welcome to the bullshit after here, okay? Because how did you get here in the first place? And this is such a limited physical body. We are limited to 5 senses, mind, or whatever it is, maybe 6 senses if you got a little ESP or whatever, but 5 senses. We're stuck in this little suit, okay, which is not the easiest thing. It breaks down very, very easily. Some people will give it the old Joyo thumbs up. It's really well designed. It's well designed. Yes, I'm not saying it's well designed. It's designed for this environment. It can't escape this environment. Can't go any place outside the environment. It's stuck on land. It can't go into really water. So it's really kind of prisoned to this location. And it breaks down pretty quickly. Right? Now let's say, again, thought exercises here. Let's say you've been on Earth multiple times. Let's just say that. The problem with it is, many people will argue with you, no, it's one time and I was born and I'm going to heaven. And it's like, but how would you know? You don't even know how you got here now. You don't have no idea you got here now. You plopped out, I plopped out in 1977, have no idea what I was doing before 1977, But they're saying that this is what happened. God thought, and boom, I'm out, and I'm doing this thing, and I'm on the hamster on the wheel, 70-something years of doing whatever, and then I die, right? Then whatever my thought process is of what the afterlife is, will be curated for me, so when I get over there, it just kind of falls right in. Oh yeah, I know, Mr. Rollman, yeah, you do this. Oh, look at this. This is your life review over here. Oh, and see over there, there's your dead relatives over there. They're waiting for you. I'll go down the road there to the white light, and boom, once you go in the white light, memory wiped you out, recycle back down to the other side. Which body would you like to select this time, Mr. Rollman? Oh, well, I want this one, a little bit of this one. But you have to work on your karma, Mr. Rollman. Oh, what's my karma? Oh, you did a couple bad things here and big things here. So this time, you're not going to be rich. You're going to be really, really poor. And we're going to send you into the middle of whatever. And then they send you back. What's that? What if that's going on? I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's just as good as any other idea, right? I keep going back to the fact that we don't know anything. And we are 100% reliant on the people here who came before us to tell us the truth about what this is. Okay? When in reality, all of us, unless there's a trick and I'm not aware about it and somebody else is, immortal on this place, and, joke's on fucking me. But otherwise, everybody comes in here memory wiped. So unless their families have the, Cliff Notes guide to how this place operates, or, we'll come in with a clean slate. Well, how do we know what anybody is telling is the truth? How do we get to the meat and potatoes? I keep trying to say, there's so many things that we are being lied to, all right? Now, I'm not one of those people that are the conspiracy going down any lines, but I know bullshit, okay? That's... Again, living through 46 years of this place, enough rabbit holes you go down and enough situations happen in your life, you start to get a pretty good grasp when people are feeding you lines of nonsense. You get pretty good at it, especially in the drug world or in what I call the lower, criminal type world. You deal with a lot of crazy and a lot of shady characters. And you get pretty good at recognizing horse shit long before it gets to your front doorstep. So, anyway, but this whole reality that we're living in right now, okay? None of us came in here with a understanding or a memory of how this thing operates, what we're supposed to do here if we are on a karmatic mission to get things right that we did before and to do it right this time. Well, then wouldn't we have a recollection of the things that we did so we don't do those things and keep screwing up? But we don't, right? So herein lies the problem. It's kind of like the Federal Reserve in a sense, where you just keep printing shit out of thin freaking air and you never have to justify any of it. Well, it's kind of like this. They can just keep recycling us through, memory wiping us every single time, and we don't remember what we had, what we did beforehand. Because wouldn't it be nice if, let's say, you died, right? Unexpectedly in a car accident. You come out on the other side and you say, damn, that sucked. All right, well, what we can send you to, we'll send you down. We're going to put all of your possessions that you worked so damn hard for down there, mister. We'll put it in hock, but when you get to a certain age, we'll send you this little golden ticket and it will, tell you what kind of happened, and then you go back to your old life. Now that'd be great, and then you can pick back up where you left off, but it doesn't happen like that. Everybody who comes into this world believes it's the first time they've ever been here. But then there are some people that do remember past lives. So we know that there is something else kind of going on here. And we have near-death experiences too. And then life before life experience. Pre-births, trip reports. There's so many different things that people have done to kind of see a little bit of the art behind what this thing is. And many, many years ago, I was one of those guys that couldn't figure out which part of the group or where I belonged anymore, because once you start to realize that all of the things that you were being told you could start poking holes in, then you just have to go back. Then you have to go back even further. It's kind of like once you realize that that's not true, then you have to say, well, wait a minute, that's not true. Then, oh my God, this and this and this and this is not true. And you start, it's kind of like, it's the old joke. It's like at work, somebody finds out that, John had herpes. Well, then everybody's figuring out, well, who slept with John? Did you sleep with... And then before you know it, like in the old office thing, the old joke is that everybody's like trying to figure it out. Oh my God. But it's the truth. And, yeah, I don't know how I went off on that, but anyway, how we got here is the biggest mystery. And we can all pretend that we know, but there's only a handful of people. And this is a very, very small percentage of people, but the ones that do, and if you are one of those people that really want to try to understand maybe what it is I'm coming from and how it is that I kind of see this world, because like I was saying, that's where I lost the track. Okay, so, right, many, many moons ago, once I lost my kind of footing with the church, and again, it was very hard to explain to people. And once you kind of see something that maybe you're not supposed to see, or maybe something enters your understanding that you're not supposed to, it's very hard to explain that to people, and you don't want to look like a fool, you don't want to look stupid. So you just kind of bury it in. And that's kind of like where my wife Crystal came in, because I knew her since we were kids. She gave me my first kiss. So it was really hard to experience that. Even a year later, it sucks. But the point being is that I could talk to her about anything, and she was one of those people that had an open mind to a lot of different things and had a lot of weird experiences too. We had one really wild experience together, which I don't know what it was, but anyway, she was open to the possibility that there were some things other than that. She wasn't a person who just took things at face value, and it's very hard to find people like that. So many people my age are, they're dug in. They're so afraid to let go of their belief system, because once they do, you feel abandoned, you feel lost. And yeah, you do. But there's liberation from that. There's this part where it's an unknowing. It's like, oh my God, really? So what are we doing? Right. That's the questions that I keep asking. It's like, once you come to the recollection, where I'm getting to, it's like, you will start to see the world in an entirely different way. You start to act on the world in an entirely different way. But when you have a world of people, most of the people are just so zombified, hypnotized. So, they have their patterns and they have their sequence all mapped out for them, day in and day out and day out. And so many people, they get on that routine and they don't want to break it. And if you disrupt it in any little bit way, it becomes a bit of uncomfortability, and human beings don't like that. So it's very hard to get people to kind of talk about this kind of stuff when, especially if you're dug deep in already. It really is hard because you don't want to sacrifice. Like, no, but here's my point. If, let's say, we are constantly coming back through this thing and we keep recycling through like soul after soul after soul, and we don't remember what happened the previous time, it's like, how are we supposed to ever get out? Maybe it's this time. Maybe it's that we're recognizing something this time, because I don't want to come back to this. I feel like this is such an inhibiting power. Being put in a human flesh suit is not what we were intended to be. Stuck here, we should be able to go and expand and do and see everything and be part of everything and build everything and make everything, make a world of our own. If I was going to create a world, I wouldn't do it this way. I wouldn't do it where I had to sacrifice something else so that I may live. I wouldn't have to kill something else so that I could. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have a world where people are born into poverty and enslavement. I mean, throughout the ages, think about that, and then indoctrinate people into cults and religion or whatever it is. I mean, think about how many people died in the name of religion. I'm not here to argue about one side or the other. I believe there's a lot of truth in religion. There's a lot of guidance in many philosophies. I believe that it's a good way to live, in a sense. But I don't believe it's the way out at all. The way out is right here. It always has been. And once you see that, you look at the world differently. You start to experience things differently. You start to see people differently. There's so many people out there today that are just trying to tell you lines of bullshit. It really are. Everybody's competing for your time. But most people are just trying to sell you some of their bullshit. It's like, really, it's amazing. Everything is for sale today. Everything is. We've turned this world, like Carlin said, into a big frickin' shopping mall. Never was supposed to be like this. Life wasn't supposed to be this hard. And we've just made it inherently worse here. But getting back to my point, it's like, why in hell's name would anybody want to reincarnate back to this shit? Every time we make it worse and worse and worse. Now, granted, people are saying, well, we're in the greatest times of all time, but all it takes was one major cataclysm, one major crazy person to drop an electromagnetic pulse in the middle of, and go back to the Stone Age. I mean, but there's societies under the ground. I mean, we have a whole United States underground system. I mean, it's state of the art, first class, paid by the United States taxpayer. Not for you, but for a certain group of people. The leaders, the highbrows of the world. I said, we are living in this diabolical sense of world, and the only way that we're ever going to get out of it is through having conversations as deep as this one, understanding truly what the hell it is that we're in, and basically trying to figure out what the hell it is we need to do to get out. There are many people out there that are talking about this stuff. I mean, I'm no expert by far. But you can't disagree with me that the place we're living here is not that fantastic. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a visual paradise. I'm not talking about its beauty, its nature, and what it could be. I'm talking about what it is. Not what it could be, what it is. And what most of the people that are running this world are doing to the majority. It's just crazy. And the fact that I can prove to you that power resides within you is fight back. If everybody fought back, I mean, I know, it's just a thing. It's a fear. There's a retention because people are afraid, again, to lose a lot of what it is that they have. I get it. But once you realize that this is not it, and this is not you, and you are so much larger than this, and I don't mean to get sound in the physical, metaphysical, 5D, 3D, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about don't look at this, the stuff, the thing, the consciousness, the whatever that vibrational energy, I don't know what you want to call it, spark. The unique spark that's you. It is so powerful. And it's being reduced into human form. And part of my belief is the way out is through unification of that power together, fighting for something that is worthwhile. It's almost like the power has been broken up in a way, that everybody has been reduced down to a very small amount in this sense. And most of it is hell, and it's painful, and it's just causing negative energy on a constant basis. There's a doctor that coined the term loosh, I think it's the term. I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert on all of this, but it's funny how just, in this world where once we get over one set of ridiculousness, a new set of ridiculousness brings right back up. Like we got rid of the whole where people are just dropping left and right, and now all of a sudden Ukraine, what do we got? 450,000 people dead. I mean, just the wars that we start, the hells that we create right here in this playground, this visual intoxication we call Earth. But it's an intoxication, a hypnotizing hallucination that really keeps us coming back. And some people love this place. And it's like, I guess maybe they haven't had a few lives of living it like some of the people in Africa, some of the people in Palestine, and some of the people in South America. You have no idea what hell looks like until you've lived in it. Had to live not knowing if your house is going to get destroyed or blown up in the middle of the night. I mean, America, we are not paying attention to what it is that we are supposed to be paying attention to. And what happens under those circumstances is that if you don't use the power you have, the voice and the power you have now, when the time comes, you're not going to be able to use it because it'll be too late. They will have seized, and anybody who speaks up after that point will be shot. There will be no America. They will destroy that name. There will be no Constitution. There will be no Bill of Rights. You will have rights that the government gives you. They are not granted or given by some higher authority or higher, power past this. No. The wardens now will have the power. We have practically given it to them already. And the way it stops is you stand up and say, no, done. It's over. Live or die. I ain't dealing with this shit no more. Give me liberty or give me death. That's it, isn't it? Too many people have died for this country. What did they die for? Just to have the American people fight amongst themselves over stupid nonsense. We're fighting over what a woman is. We're fighting over bullshit. We're fighting over things that are it's just nonsense. And anybody who wants to really look at it for what it is, you need to call it out for what it is. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. And anybody who strokes those nonsense to me, I don't have time for it. I really don't. I don't address it. I don't give it the attention it wants. But that stuff doesn't belong in the schools. Never did. Pornography doesn't belong in the schools. Never did. So how it got in there only comes down to corruptness. So if we're all in agreement that that doesn't belong there, if we're all in agreement that your child should be yours to raise, I mean, the only time human services should be coming in with is if you're beating the hell out of your child or causing harm to it. But no, they got people telling parents what they can and cannot do to their child. We are living in ridiculous times, communistic dictator type times. Sorry. And it seems that if we cower down now, it's over. We already have a Congress that wants to spend money and they don't care. Well, then we make them care. The only way we're going to do this is we're going to do it together. It's all of us versus them. Because when the mob goes, we're going to go right to them and say, look, get the hell out, done. You don't represent us anymore. Either they're going to do what the people say or that's it. We have that power now. We need to use that power. That's why I'm saying, middle America, there's no more Democrat, there's no more Republican, there's no more any of that stuff anymore. I didn't mean to go here, but it seems like all of the things that are happening in my life are all leading and converging towards a specific point. And I'm so sick and tired of talking about it. But it's like, that's where the power is. Like I was getting back to, each one of us harnesses a unique amount of power. It has been reduced down to this form. But when we unite, all of us, and we focus that energy on what we want this world to be, what we want this country to be, what we want our futures to be, guess what? It blossoms, it blooms, it thrives. It just moves in that direction, and it moves like a tidal wave. I don't know about you, but I'm tired. I'm tired of busting my ass to get nothing. I'm tired of working my way through life just to lose everything because somebody else thought it was okay to just be an asshole to the country. I mean, what is happening to what's going on right now is criminal. The people that are serving in the executive branch and the arms that connect to it should be tried as criminals against their own country. This is treason, what they've done and allowed to happen. My wife didn't have to die. But Joe Biden doesn't care. None of those people care. They don't care about anybody. And that's why I'm fighting. Because I'm done getting pissed at people anymore. I'm just so... No, I'm getting even with people. Especially ones that try to destroy the lives of other individuals. No. Gloves are off for that. Yeah, you have tyrants and traitors. And we're going to deal with them. And how we deal with them is by uniting. We all got to remember that we're all in the same boat and we're all seasick. Okay? The social issues and all the little specific issues. We will deal with that. We are America. We are going to deal with that. But we are never going to have those conversations if we don't have a country. We don't have a border. We don't have a culture. We don't have a language. We don't have our customs, what made this country great to begin with. If you don't have that, then you don't have anything. That's what they're taking. This world is so weird. Makes no sense. It is filled with so much negative nonsense. And the human being just adds to it. We just pile more of it on. Unnecessary. It's hard enough. But I believe that power can be reharnessed. I have seen it. I've actually seen what happens when you get a large amount of people that just care about each other and they want to do the right thing for everyone within that, whoever they're responsible for. It's like in your case, your family. Every dad, mom wants to take care of their kids. Legitimately, they do, deep down. But the system has been set up such that it's making it harder and harder to just get by week. Whose fault is that? It's not the parents' fault. It's not anybody's fault. No, they've set it up such where they've gotten rid of all of the good jobs, thrown them overseas, given them to much as they can make a profit. And then our congressmen and representatives, they just look the other way. And then they look the other way because they're getting taken care of behind the scenes while you and I continue to suffer and continue to keep battling. And that's what's going on. That's why I said, the battle between down the center of my heart and your heart, it's not aimed in the right direction. They have got you and I fighting against each other, and it's not where the fight is. I lost my wife because the President of the United States thought it was okay to just let fentanyl pour into the United States. 15 million, 14 million illegal people scattered into every city and paid for by the people who are the actual citizens of this country. It's just, this is our own, the highest authority in our country is doing that to his own people. And we're fighting amongst each other? No. It's over. It's over. If you don't recognize you're being lied to, please just step aside, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. But this is treason. And these people need to go. That man doesn't know who he is. And he's still walking around and they're still pretending Barack Obama is endorsing him. It's like, can the clown show world get any more ridiculous? That's what I'm saying. And you think that this is paradise? This place was made for you? This is a prison. This is like a crazy house. And I'm waking up every single day and I'm looking around and everybody else is going, oh, this is normal. This is far normal. There's a man walking over there with a long beard and a dress, and you're telling me it's normal. They told you. Who told you it was normal? Because that's not normal. No, there's nothing normal about any of this. I'm over. That's what I said. It's like anything goes now. We are now living in America, and they have abused it and turned this whole, the beautiful laws that we had, the democracy, and really what we originally had. You can see how easily it can be perverted by a small few. And then all of a sudden, you throw money at people, you give people all these promises, you tell them how good they are, how wonderful, you know you're going to be a good guy, and if you just play your cards the right way, we'll take care of you. And this is the stuff that goes on. But it's that attitude, the lying, the manipulation, the stealing, all of that, the stuff that is the virus that's destroyed this country. And it's like, how do you trust anybody to get it back? Your record is what it says it is, and you've got to get people that, anybody who has an address that's associated with Washington, D.C., no, they're automatically omitted. It's like, if the person has any association with that city, no, I don't want them. I want somebody from Georgia who's living in Georgia, in that district, who knows all of the shit that's going down in that district. And in every other district across the United States. I'm tired of the guy with the suit and polished teeth and everything looking good. Yeah, I've been doing this for a really long time. I'm over that. So over it. And when these doofuses come on television and they stand up there and they have all of the talking points and say the right thing and have your fingers in the right. You can just see it's scripted. You can see that these people have been practicing their nonsense for years. They got it down. It's so pathetic. This world is so, it's so exhaustingly strangulating. It's very diabolical in its nature, and I am sorry. This is why 2012ish I kind of said, nope, I ain't buying what you're selling anymore, because it's not the reality. Yes, a good time is coming to me ever so far away. Carry your cross, son of a bitch. Sure, you go right ahead, but it ain't gonna matter whether I carry it or I don't. Okay, I'm still a good person, and I always will be a good person to other people. That is really what it comes down to: be good unto others, and that's it. Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. That's all anybody's ever asking for. I just want to do the right thing. I want to try to get it right. I don't care about being right. I don't care about the credit. I just want to be good. A good person to as many people as I can. I'm going to screw up. I know I'm not perfect. But again, like I said at the top of this video, didn't come with a user manual. Don't have an understanding of exactly how all this stuff works, because I was memory wiped when I came in here. And I'm just kind of going through the motions like everybody else. So that's why I said I'm not perfect, and nobody's perfect. So to think that we got a president that's perfect, no, it's not. But there's a difference between a person who is perfect, not perfect, and a person who's a goddamn criminal. And we just can't see that anymore. It's like, wow. I just feel like I said, I've been dropped into this, whatever this pool of crazy town is, and it's becoming more and more difficult to find people in the world that get it. Now, over this past weekend, I met quite a few people who are grounded and get it. But those are becoming harder and harder to find. And you got to start really thinking about what's going on in the psycho ward here. Because if we don't get this son of a bitch under control, it's going to get even crazier. Just wait till the fake aliens start coming. Wait till they start telling you all of this other... I mean, it's never-ending theatrics. It never ends. Until everybody starts using the power that they have, starts working it together. Again, it's not about you, me, or it's about us and them. Stop thinking in terms of, oh, I gotta have my thing and I gotta have that thing. Look, nobody's gonna have anything here real soon, because everybody's fighting. And the only way you beat tyrants is by overthrowing that tyranny. There's so many billions of us, and there's only a very small portion of this corruptness. We can get rid of it if we work together, stop fighting amongst each other. The war is not between you and I. Never has been. They've been lying about everything, like they always do. Millions of Americans dying in foreign wars, millions of Americans dying here because of things that the government has done to them. My wife dying because we have an administration that doesn't care about its own citizens. Yet the own opium wars in the United States, that's coming directly from the CC, corrupt, the CCP. Xi Jinping little hands. Yeah. Those are public enemy number one, in my opinion. Seal that border, you get 14 million of these son of a bitches out, and then number two, you start an economic problem against. We can end that in the first 100 days under the Trump administration, guaranteed. You don't need to fire a shot. They are so reliant on this economy, and we've been giving it. We've been giving them everything. Why? Because they've been giving big diamonds to Hunter and giving good old Joseph Robinette Biden a whole bunch of other millions of dollars. What would you give a president all that millions of dollars for? What's he need that for? For his medical care, probably. Or he just doesn't know. Or his own family is so greedy. They're just a bunch of... It's amazing. And the media covers for all of these people. They're even more disgusting. Because they have definitely sold their souls. They're 100% puppetized. It's crazy. They have to read off their script. Just think about that. Ugh. It's just disgusting. And those people, they just read. They just lie to you all day long and night. They have no problem doing it. CIA trained, I guess. Amazing. Would they tell you you're doing it for your country? Oh, okay. That's what I said. Those people don't live in any of the worlds you and I live. It's like they're living the Pan Ams. Mainstream media, the Maddow's, the Anderson Coopers, Sean Hannity's, all of the guys, they all just read these scripts. One's control opposition, the other one is reading it, oh, Trump derangement syndrome all week long, gotta do all the trials in New York. Oh, it's again, pathetic. It's so pathetic. And this is all infiltrated, paid for, subverted by Chinese Communist Party with the assistance of our own government, being bought off and being on the take for many, many years. That's why these people never go anywhere. They just recycle their trash all over the place. One's in this administration, then they get a job working as a clerk outside, and then they come back, and then again, it's a revolving door of shit. The way we end this is by getting involved, paying attention where you are in your local community, putting the people in that you personally know, that know you and you have a relationship with, because if they get out of line, you say, hey there buddy, remember us? Our kids play ball together, don't you get any funny business? Because again, it becomes much more personal. And that's why I've said, that's why you get involved where you live, you start to recognize what's kind of going on in your community, you become the better voice for your community because we're all now connected. And when you have a community that is connected, the community usually blossoms, blooms, and thrives. But when we're all told that we all hate each other and everybody's struggling and nobody can make ends meet, everybody's on edge, that just destroys communities. Everybody is just ripped to the bitter end right now. But too many people had to sacrifice their life. Too many people have busted their balls to get nothing in the end. And I'm tired of seeing it. Are you tired of seeing it? I certainly hope somebody got something from this. I never know exactly where these videos may go and who may hear them, but when I tell you that I'm fighting because I truly believe, but it's not even a belief anymore, it's a knowing. I know where we're heading and I know what's going to happen. It's just comes down to how many people wake up soon enough to be part of it, because the sooner you wake up, the easier this transition is going to be, the better and the more united this country becomes, the more unstoppable force we will be. Because 2024 this year is going to be an absolute circus. It already has been. And it's going to only get worse. That I can promise you. All right, I rambled on. It's 3 in the morning. I got to go to work. I'll talk with you soon. Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Peace.